at 7 o'clock. We can just go around and introduce ourselves, and I'll start out. I'm Dennis Seeley, I'm the chair, and we can work around the table.
I'm Miles Glowacki with the City of Beaverton's neighborhood program. And Des, you may not know this, but everybody's Zoom looks different to them. So who's ever in your right corner may not be in somebody else's right corner. So you might just call on people to, by their first name to introduce themselves.
Okay, Erik.
Erik Lehr, I'm a board member in the BCCI rep.
Okay, Lori.
Lori Leach, Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District.
Officer Fleckenstein.
We can't hear you, Officer Fleckenstein.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Officer Fleckenstein with the Beaverton Police Department.
Okay. Erin.
I'm Erin Hatch, recorder.
Ronald. John. Matt.
Oops.
There you are.
My name is Matt Costigan. I'm a senior project manager with Washington County.
Thank you. Ronald, are you there yet? Okay. Glenna?
Hi, I'm Glenna. I'm one of the neighbors.
Okay. Mary? Okay, Miles, I see a telephone over here. Is that a call in?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we can start out with Tualatin Hills Park and Rec. Do we have anything on that?
Yeah, actually, we're super excited. The last month or so, we've been able to start opening facilities. So we've got weight rooms and fitness classes and things like that happening at Conestoga, the athletic center, and also the tennis center. So those are available. Cedar Hills is now open with weight rooms and fitness. They're open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. And the aquatic center and Conestoga pools are now open. And all of these activities are available by reservation only. So person needs to have an account with Tualatin Hills and then also be registered for an online account. And so on the website, it'll tell you how to get there if that's what you're interested in doing. But we're taking reservations on a rolling 8-day schedule. So for the following Monday, say so today is Tuesday. So there's offerings for all the way through next Tuesday. And then each night at 12:05, each morning at 12:05, the next offering for the next day comes out. So it's a little bit that you have to kind of manage it, but we are actually pretty full, especially as far as the pools go. People were really happy to be back in the water. So with, again, the lap swim times and deep and shallow water fitness. All week long, we're offering, or all month long rather, we're offering fitness in the parks. So this is a free opportunity to go out and participate in a variety of different classes. And the schedules on that are available on the website, THPRD.org. As far as helping out with preschool and with out of school time, since kids are not actually doing physical learning right now, everything's remote. Tualatin Hills is offering programs at Cedar Hills and Conestoga for that. So the kids are in pods of 10, and they're the same kids arranged by grade level. And we've got support staff to help with their distance learning. So that information is also available on the web. Couple other events. We've got drive-in bingo happening at the Stir Center at various times throughout the month. as well as welcoming walks with our community partners to show support for immigrants and refugees. So those are online as well. Halloween opportunities. We've got a Halloween trick or treat event that is actually a drive-through. So there will be around the complex at HMT, there will be different stations where families can drive through, and then they will receive trick or treat goodies as they go through that. So that's on October 24th at 6 p.m. Lots of volunteer opportunities as usual. So including community garden cleanup and helping to spread chips at the dog runs. So I know some of you have dogs, you might want to participate in that. There is a virtual health and wellness resource fair that's going on all month long. So you can opt into that. The board has just adopted a vision action plan in September, and the project's led by a volunteer task force connecting with thousands of people in the community and developing a plan to outline community priorities that will guide the operations of the district for years to come. Trail usage remains really high, so it's suggested that if you are not liking the high usage so much, try to get there before 10 a.m. But we're requiring that people maintain physical distance and or wear a face covering where there's times where you cannot keep that 6-foot distance. You may be familiar with the Pano Creek Trail closure. They're replacing a bridge and doing some stream enhancement that they're handling. So we're looking for that to be completed toward the end of the month. And then outdoor restrooms, for a while, we did not have the ability to maintain the cleaning schedule that was requisite, but now we have opened many of the outdoor restrooms because we have been able to bring staff back on. So HMT, Cedar Hills Park, the Nature Park, Jenkins Estate, Cooper Mountain Nature Park, and Mountain View Champions Park. So lots going on with the district. Anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. How about a police report?
Hi, so I'm filling in for Officer Maurer tonight. Typically, I'm the NAC officer for Sexton Mountain, so I'm a little farther south from where you guys are typically located, but I'm happy to kind of help out while he's on vacation. I'm not sure how Officer Maurer typically likes to run his kind of information, but I like to typically look at some of the statistics kind of going on where you guys are currently at. Typically, it's not a whole lot different from last month. Typically, the biggest thing that we're continuing to see from Five Oaks is the kind of continued theft from people's packages, mailboxes, cars, things like that. So there's a lot more people with a lot more time on their hands just due to COVID and not being able to work, or kind of a number of other things right now. So it's just something to keep in mind. If you're leaving valuables in your cars and things like that, that's one of the big things that we're seeing a lot of, unfortunately. And so we're able to kind of help catch people here and there, but for the most part, some of those crimes aren't being it's all just because there's no suspect information or things like that. So it's just something to think about kind of moving forward. We have been in the new public safety building for just probably a month and a half now. We've kind of started to work through kind of all the little kinks here, but for the most part, everything's kind of up and running pretty smoothly, if I may add. What else can I say? And then other than that, a lot of our events and things like that, and a lot of our volunteer base has been kind of kept away due to COVID and everything else kind of going on. So hopefully our community service division is trying to look at other avenues and things like that kind of moving forward. So, but if there's any questions that I can help answer, I'd be happy to answer those.
No question, but just something for all of us to think about. And maybe I'll ask the question now. We can think about it until near the end of the meeting. Since we're in a new time here, the trick-or-treaters. I've talked to my neighbors. Some say, no, we're just going to keep the doors closed. Others say we're just going to put containers of candy outside and not actually answer the door, and just kind of keep it in mind and get some ideas, you know, what's safe, and we don't want to hurt the kids. And so, you know, maybe what you guys are going to do individually and make a quorum out of that. But okay, Miles, do you have any city updates?
Yeah. Right now we're in the process of recruiting for an interim city manager to support the new city charter that and help us work through what that change in government's going to look like. On January 1st, 2021, the city will transition from the mayor council to a council manager form of government as a result of the voter approved charter changes from the May election. The interim city manager will be appointed this fall by city council and will report directly to the council and then provide administrative direction and support for city initiatives to all city departments. They'll serve in this role for approximately 6 months while we transition, and they recruit for kind of the full-time city manager. The first review of applications is happening on Thursday, and they're expected to begin January 1st. So lots of changes at City Hall. We'll see. The virtual voters forum is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. We're going to have races for Beaverton Mayor, Beaverton City Council Position 6, and Washington County Commissioner District 1. You can watch it online at beavertonoregon.gov voters forum. You can watch it live online, or it's also on, if you have cable, on channels 30 in English and 28 in Spanish. And they'll also have replays, or you can watch it online the next day or when you have time. Should be interesting. They always are. I really like the voters forums. You never know what people are going to say up there. Yeah, I think that's all my updates. Is there any questions for the city?
I'm going to be what?
Glenna, are you just on a phone or are you on a computer? Because there is...
Well, I'm on a phone because
Okay.
the computer is kind of glitching out.
Sorry, I'm just trying to fix it. Are there any other questions for the city? No. I will mention before we get to Matt that if anybody has questions but they can't access their microphone for some reason, they can type it into the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen and I can read those off to Matt. Glenna, do you want to try one more time?
Sure, I was. Dear, noisy. Do you get all that feedback?
We were, yeah. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
There, this is better, isn't it? My neighbor just came over too.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, I'll be around after the meeting too to answer any questions about the city. So we can move on, Dennis.
Okay, Matt, you want to tell us how the projects are going?
Matt, you're muted.
All right, sorry about that. When Miles sent me an email, he told me that you wanted to talk about Walker Phase 3 and then the Walkermurray intersection project, right? Okay. So just kind of give you a quick update of the Walker 3 project. It's going to be a 5-lane from 173rd to 185th. We're going to improve and raise the road right there at Willow Creek Crossing. We're going to replace that culvert with an arched culvert. Let's see, we'll build a new signal at 178th and Cambrai. And then we're going to be building a new 24-inch water line for the city of Beaverton as part of their North Transmission Line Improvement Project. That's going to start down around TV Highway and 170th and go all the way up to the Hillsborough Stadium. So, and we're just a portion of that. I do, you know, one thing that's nice about doing Zoom is I can actually share my screen. So if everybody can see that.
Oh.
So we'll start over on the east side, which is 173rd. We had already improved it up to around 174th, and that's where we had tapered it back in. Well, it's 5 lanes, but then we taper it down to 4 at the Willow Creek crossing. And then once we get past that, then we widen it again out to 5 lanes. And we continue that all the way to roughly 185th. You know, past 180th, 183rd, and then we get up. This is where the asphalt meets the concrete, if anybody's familiar with that. And that's where we're going to end our project as well. We're working with this project. This is a developer. He's building a senior living center here. And we are coordinating with them to do some water quality work. Have sound walls. The yellow lines signify sound walls. Hopefully everybody can, I get this internet, my internet is unstable, so bear with me. We didn't put sound walls continuously through this project. The county has a sound wall policy that we adhere to, so that if the road was classified an arterial, let's see, how do I say this? The county's policy is if the property was out there prior to the road being classified as an arterial and being 5 lanes wide, it would be looked at for sound mitigation. So a lot of these homes are the older homes that have been there prior to, say, 1990. But some of the newer developments here off of Cambrai, they already have a 5-foot wall. But again, they came in, I want to say around the 2012, 2014 timeframe. So they would not be getting a sound wall. That would be something that the developer could have done for them. So design-wise, we're about 90% design. We've received the city of Beaverton land use approval for the project. We are gearing up to submit what's called our site development. That's kind of the final engineering that we would submit to the city of Beaverton for their review. We still need to submit a joint permit application for our impact to Willow Creek. Joint permit application is it's a permit that we get from the Corps of Engineers as well as the Department of State Lands. We also need to get a permit from DEQ for water quality, as well as the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. So any questions on Walker
So-
Phase 3?
Matt, looks like you're adding a light at Cambrai.
Yes, that's correct.
And what is the speed limit going to be on the Walker? Is it changing at all?
I believe it's 45 right now. We're not proposing to change it. When we go in and do road improvement projects, we try not to adjust the speed limit. So there had been discussions, I want to say a year ago, of possibly lowering the speed limit down to 35. But that would be something that would be done by our transportation department. So they would need a speed study to be performed.
Okay.
And then it needs to be submitted to ODOT.
Gotcha.
Are we, I thought I'd just show you this. I don't know if, can you guys see that, the change in plans? So this is the Willow Creek crossing. Just wanted to kind of bring out the profile. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe I can enlarge it a little bit. But here's right here where my hand is the existing top of the road right now. And you can see we're taking that up about 8 feet, raising the grade. So there's not going to be that big dip in the road anymore. So any other questions?
Yeah.
Construction.
Just taking a fuzzy overview of this, when you actually break ground from 173rd or, to the last section, is that going to be a complete shutdown except to local traffic? Meaning if I wanted to get to 185th, I would have to take 173rd to Cornell to 185th, or?
No, it wouldn't be it would be a complete shutdown when we replace this culvert. Yes, we just don't have the room to put traffic either to the north or south. I mean, we have houses over here, and we have houses on both sides of the creek on the south side. So what we would do, similar to what we did on 198th this year or last summer, is we would close the road roughly at 173rd at 173rd. We detour traffic either up to Baseline or to Cornell on 170th, 173rd. We would work with the school district and TriMet to reroute their stops. We would do it because we were limited of when we can get into the creek, July 15th through the end of September. So we would probably start our closure around the 1st of July. And then we would end probably at September 30th. We might be able to, because it's a precast or pre-made culvert, we think that we can get it in a lot quicker, but we still have to build up that grade. So that would take some time.
Okay.
Any other questions on Walker Phase 3?
In terms of timeline, this is starting when Jenkins is done, correct?
Yes. Jenkins should be finished into this year.
Thank you.
And right now, kind of the schedule that we have is we haven't started right of way. That's usually a 6 to 9 month period. So we may be pushing this back to the fall of 2021 to bid the project. Because I have another Walker Road project on the north side of Nike that we're going to try to get out in advance of this one. Okay, so that's actually Walker Phase 2. So we're thinking that we would go out in the fall of 2021, about a year from now, and we would do the water, get the water line in, start our clearing and grubbing. We would probably do our bridge construction and road closure July through September of 2022 with the top lift that fall, the final lift of pavement that fall, or possibly spring of 2023. So, okay, let's go to Walkermurray, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go here. All right, this is the Walkermurray intersection. This intersection is just there's too many vehicles going through this intersection. So we actually compared to Walker 3, which has maybe 14,000 cars a day on Walker. Walker Road at this intersection sees about 25,000 cars a day. And then Murray sees about 27,000 cars. And then in 2035, that's going to be about 34,000 on Murray and about 36 to 37,000 on Walker. So what we're doing here is we're going to add each leg will have 2 through lanes, 2 left turn lanes, a designated right turn lane, and we're adding an additional southbound through lane on Murray that ultimately will become a drop lane at Bowerman Drive, which is the entrance into Nike. As part of this project, we're going to be replacing 2 bridges. The first one, and both of these go over Cedar Mill Creek. The first one is about 150 feet south of Walker Road on Murray. And then the other one is about 75 feet east of, on Walker, east of Murray Boulevard. In addition to it, we have 2 culverts that we're going to be replaced, and these serve Johnson Creek, one between Parkway and Far Vista on Walker Road, and then the other one is right here on Far Vista, just south of Walker. As part of this project, we try to get all the utility improvements in as well. So we're going to be doing a sewer extension for clean water services, sewer main extension. Let's see what else I had in my notes. We're doing a 42-inch water line for a TVWD. And then we have some storm line upgrades that we're going to be doing for the city of Beaverton. The Walkermurray project, we are at about 100% design. We recently received City of Beaverton land use approval. The project was appealed, but we were successful in the appeal got denied. And now we're preparing for the site development permit. Again, because we're dealing with 2 creeks and a couple bridges and a couple culverts, we have to apply for a joint permit application as well as other regulatory permits from the agencies. And then we're working on what's called a conditional letter of map revision because we are actually moving North Johnson Creek. Because we're widening Walker, we have to move it about 75 feet to the south, and that's requiring us to submit what's called a clomer to FEMA, which is a federal government. So there's definitely some permitting that we have to abide by on this. This one is, we're about 75% through with our right-of-way. We have 4 outstanding parcels that we still need to acquire. We are looking at bidding this project in late spring or summer of next year, 2021. we'd probably start off with the utility relocation and the new water line. And then we would begin our bridge construction beginning in the summer of 2022. We would have to do that in 2023 as well, because we have different phases for staging purposes of traffic. We do not propose to close the road for the construction of the bridge. There's just way too much traffic to try and detour it around. So we will phase the work so that we maintain traffic as it is right now, the number of lanes. So it's going to be a challenge, but that's what we're shooting for. Any questions on this?
Yeah, Matt. This is Miles, and I have some questions from Glenna. She must be a resident.
She is a resident on phase 3.
Yes. Okay. Well, good. She wants to know if you're going to be her point of contact through completion of the project.
Yes, I am.
Okay. She would like there to be alerts to nearby neighbors when heavy construction pounding is to be expected. She has things she wants to take off the wall so that they don't fall off.
Understandable. That's a tough one, because it really just depends on, how some houses are made. Some people feel it and some don't. I know that when we did 198th, we did a lot of, storm pipe that the backfill is compacted. And we're pretty close to houses. So, but I think once we start getting under construction, we can coordinate with her. Yes.
Okay. And what does the wall's rain drain look like and how to connect?
The walls, the rain drains. So if she has some, if everything right now flows, I can go over to her property. This might help. I think this is her property. So if the flow comes out this way, what we do is we'll put an area drain in her backyard, 1 or 2, and then we get that pipe out underneath the wall, and then it drains out either into the street or into the storm pipe. This is something that we did over on phase 1 for a couple of the houses between 173rd and 170th. Everything drained out toward the street, and by installing the wall kind of blocked it. So we put in area drains in their backyard, put the drainage pipe underneath the wall.
Okay.
Yep.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What does what's the price tag on something like the Walkermurray interchange?
Project budget's around $30 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Construction, we're estimating, I want to say about $18 million. It's big. It started off, all these projects, prices are going up.
Yeah.
I have a question around those lines as well.
Yep.
When you say that you're doing some other projects with like the Tualatin Valley Water, how do you coordinate that? I'm just kind of curious how you do that with these other agencies and putting in water pipes and sewage pipes. And do you split the cost of that? Does that save money for you in the city and county?
No. So a good example on Walker phase 3 on this project that's up on the screen. The city wants to put in a 24-inch transmission line. They will be responsible for the design. We will get their design and incorporate it into our project plans and specifications. It becomes part of the construction package that people bid on. We, between the city and the county, will prepare an intergovernmental agreement that has identified the scope of the work and the cost, and then the county will front the money, and then once the work goes in, then we bill the city that amount, whatever, for how much the water line cost.
The city saves the cost of digging up the entire road to do it by itself.
That's right. I mean, it saves disruption to the residents as well. Instead of the water line coming through now, and then a year from now, we come in and do the road improvements. We try to incorporate it all into one bigger project, kind of economy of scale. Hopefully we get better prices. Anything else?
Nope.
I have a question completely off topic, but since I have you here,
Yep,
did you run the 198th project?
I did. And
What
I'm doing the Jenkins project as well.
What are they doing at 198th and Farmington? They it looks like they ended where they're putting in new pavement, but they've scraped the lines off the road.
Oh, so what we did is, because the 198th Farmington intersection was already improved, what we did is our project just tied into those improvements. I want to say about 150 feet south of Farmington. But we want the striping to be consistent. And so striping is going to go in next week. So we needed to grind off all the existing striping so that we could put the new striping out there so it's all consistent.
Well, you guys did a great job out there. It looks great.
Thanks. It's not done yet.
I know. Oh, I know. Not happy there's going to be more traffic, but it will be better. So.
It will. So between Walker Phase 3 and Walkermurray, there's the Walker Phase 2 project, which will go from roughly Murray Boulevard to Schindel, which is where Walker Phase 1 ended. That is just gonna do a consistent 5-lane road all the way through. Right now, kind of hourglass is in and out, especially adjacent to Nike. The intersection at 158th and Walker is getting a little bit bigger. And then the city has a water line on that one as well that we will be installing as part of that project. And that goes from Schindel down to 150th, and then it turns and goes up 150th a couple blocks. But it also goes down 158th to Schindel toward THPRD's entrance. So the 3 Jenkins projects are mine. So if anybody ever has questions about Walker, they can give me a call. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Matt.
Erik, have you had any meetings with BCCI?
Unmute myself. Yeah, we had a meeting a couple weeks ago. So a few updates. First, as Miles mentioned, we've got the voters forum coming up tomorrow. So I encourage everyone to watch that. We have a couple runoff races from the May election. So the mayoral race, we have the Washington County Commissioners race, and then we have the City Council seat 6. As a reminder, this is a new seat that was created with the city charter. So it's we have 3 new people, I believe, running for that seat as well. So please tune into that tomorrow if you can. And I believe statewide ballots are getting sent out tomorrow as well. So exciting. In terms of updates, actually, let me see if I can share my screen here as well. Now that I've been inspired by Matt. Okay. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. So a couple months ago, by the way, I apologize for missing last week's, but I think 2 months ago, or last month, but 2 months ago, we talked about the HB 2001. This is the new bill that the state of Oregon passed that has to do with housing density and what type of housing you can build. And the idea is to allow, depending on city size, allow for the building of things besides single family housing. So duplex, triplex, cottage clusters, townhouses, so on. There's still a lot of work being done on this. We don't know yet what the final bill is going to look like out of the state, but the city is currently working to A, determine what they expect to come out of the state, and B, determine how they want to react to that, if they want to be more stringent, less stringent, so on. And what we're looking at right here, this is part of a presentation that we got from the city. But here are a few of the options that the city is looking at in terms of how to determine how these rules will be implemented. So the first option, minimum compliance, would have to do with lot sizes. So if your lot is 5,000 square feet versus 10,000, so on, that would determine what types of housing could be built on each lot. The next is model code, which really says anything can be built anywhere. Whatever type of lot you have, you can build any of these types of housing on it. The third performance metrics is percentage thresholds. So this is saying you can have up to a certain number of different housing types, and depending on lot size, city size, things like that. Master plan is minimum density, and then potentially other options they're looking at. So there's still not that much clarity from the city, and I think or from the state rather. So I think that the planning group at the city is still kind of, the hands are tied a little bit in terms of what type of information they can give out to residents. But here are a few of the things that are being looked at. And Dennis, I really do think that at some point we should get somebody in from the city to discuss this, particularly as they get a little more clarity on what this means, because certainly this could have a pretty big impact for residents, understanding what types of housing can be built, on your property, on your neighbor's property, and so on. Okay. And the last thing that I wanted to share with you, and this is a sort of a work in progress from the BCCI and more specifically the land use subcommittee. We're trying to help compile resources for the individual NACs to be helpful when each NAC gets a notice of development. So some questions that we would have for the NAC, and maybe Dennis or anybody else, if you could give any thoughts that you have on this. But the questions we have are, one, have you interacted with the city on behalf of your neighborhood following receipt of a notice of development proposal? Was your interaction with city staff or the developer successful? And were you confused by the process and wish you had a better direction at any point? So if anybody has any thoughts on that, on if you've interacted with the city with respect to development projects, how that experience was, and are there things that could have been done better? And the hope is from our side is that we can get some feedback and then hopefully put together some resources to really help streamline that process for both the neighborhoods and the cities. So I don't know if anybody has any initial feedback on those questions, but certainly something to keep in mind, particularly as there are more new developments going up.
Well, that might be something that that Erin could put up like on our Facebook, to where if people are in an affected area, have you done the following? This
Mhm.
is what you can do. That might be an idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'd be happy to post anything.
Okay. I think that's all I had.
Okay, is John Hooson still with us? Doesn't look like it. Speaking of notices, I got one. A development proposal. The applicant wants to construct a 17,000+ square foot, 2-story commercial building containing office and indoor recreation uses with associated parking, so on and so forth. And where it is located is north of Walker and 150th, and I think it's right the next buildable lot from the Black Rock coffee thing right there on the corner. There used to be a building in there and they razzed it and it's been empty, and they sent me a picture and that's what it looks like, because I can see the gas station and I can see Black Rock, and I think it's a Subway or something next to it. But it looks like it's the next lot down 158. And the normal drill, if you have any written comments, you can send them to the current planning division at Post Office Box 4755 Beaverton. And the case file is DR 20200026. And refer to that and they'll answer any questions that we've got there.
Dennis, that was to the west of Black Rock?
Okay.
North.
It'd be
Behind Black Rock.
To the north of Black Rock.
North.
There's a large vacant lot where a structure was taken down several years ago.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks.
And that's what they have highlighted here. And it faces on 150th, but it looks like it's about a half a block off Walker, and the only thing there is the coffee place. So, and that's that. Okay, any more concerns or anything that we can talk about?
I'll work with John before the next meeting and see if we can get his microphone and stuff to work.
Okay. No, I know you worked with me.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis figured it out, so.
You and I figured it out, buddy.
And just let everybody know, I emailed Glenna the answers to her questions from Matt. And then this video will be posted to the website so people can watch it probably by the end of the week. It'll be at beavertonoregon.gov/5 Oaks Triple Creek.
And I just want to say too, that if anybody ever wants to take a look at these road projects on Walker, they can definitely go to wc-roads.com. So, and it will just grab the tab for projects and go to transportation projects, and there's a whole list of them. So.
Okay, anything more for the good of the meeting here? Any comments?
Are there any topics for next month you want me to find a guest speaker
I
for?
was thinking we could either go with a school.
Oh, that's right.
School and see how our schools, are shaping up, because I've seen buses out, and I also know there's virtual learning. And Erik, you had an idea for a speaker.
Yeah, at some point, Miles, it'd be good if we could get Rob Zeller or somebody else from that team in to discuss.
Yeah, it's usually Rob's boss who comes out,
Okay.
Brian Martin, but he's he actually sits on the rulemaking committee.
Okay, great,
He knows a lot about it.
good.
I'd also mention that if anybody's interested in those rules that are coming out, you can go to the LCDC website and view the agendas and the exhibits and the minutes, and submit questions or submit testimony on what they're doing. So, yep, that's it. I will work on those and let Dennis know, let everybody know
Yeah.
what I come up with.
Thank you.
If that's it, then hi, Erin, there you're back. I think we can adjourn the meeting and go hide out.